Hi, this is Buffy in Well Construction and Compliance. This presentation will cover Chapter 690, Division 205, Water Supply Well Construction Standards Licensing. The Oregon Administrative Rules are organized by chapters, with each chapter representing a government agency. So the Water Resources Department has Chapter 690, and then those chapters are further divided into divisions. What are the objectives for the presentation? First, to help you understand licensing requirements. Also, to become familiar with continuing education credit requirements, often shortened to CECs. Understand START card requirements. And lastly, a brief introduction to the resources for well constructors on the WRD website. Well, how do I qualify for a well constructor license in Oregon? Well, you should be at least 18 years old, pass a written exam, have a minimum of 1 year experience in well construction, and pay a license fee. Here are the rules as seen in Oregon Administrative Rule 690-205-0020. If you're wondering, well, what is a rule? A rule is any agency regulation that implements, interprets, or prescribes law, in this case, referring to the Oregon Revised Statutes. And here's where you can find the information in statute 537747. The Oregon Revised Statutes are the codified laws of the state of Oregon. So codified, think code, and code can be difficult to read. So hopefully this presentation will help you with that. Statutes for OWRD can be found in volume 15, chapters 536 through 558. However, the exam requires familiarity with only 537.535 through 537.595. And if you are wondering, well, what is a statute? A statute is a law that's been enacted by a legislature. The laws in the Oregon Revised Statutes are passed by the Oregon Legislative Assembly, which consists of the Oregon House of Representatives and the Oregon Senate. And if you are wanting to watch the old schoolhouse rock video, I'm Just a Bill, to remind yourself how a bill becomes a law, the link is up on the screen. Okay, great. You passed the exam. So how much experience do you need to get your license? You should have a minimum of 1 year experience during the previous 36 months. So it shouldn't be older. Your experience shouldn't be older than 36 months. Your experience should include a minimum of 15 wells. And that experience should include the operation of well drilling machinery. While working for an Oregon licensed well constructor, an employee may perform all duties of well construction only if an Oregon licensed well constructor is on site. If you're curious about the type of documentation that you would need to provide to prove your experience, go ahead and read further to 690, 205, 0020, items A through D. And where can you find this in rule? Right here, it should be looking pretty familiar by now. 1 year in the past 36 months, operation of well drilling machinery, minimum of 15 wells. All right, well, let's say you pass the exam, but you do not meet the experience requirements. Now what? Well, you can get a trainee card. Trainee cards are issued at no charge, and they're valid for 3 years from the date the exam was passed. A trainee may operate a cable tool drilling machine or a non-cable tool drilling rig without a licensed Water supply well constructor physically present at the site only if certain conditions are met. See 690-205-0020, item 4, for the specific duties that trainees can perform without a licensed well constructor present. All right, you passed the exam, you've proved your experience, and now you're qualified for a license. So what's next? You need to decide if you're going to get an unbonded license, which allows you to work for a bonded well constructor in Oregon, or are you going to get a bonded license? Are you going to enter into contracts or services? Then you need to have a license, or I'm sorry, a bonded license. Because in Oregon, only licensed bonded well constructors may enter into contracts or advertise for services. What is a surety bond? A surety bond is a three-party agreement that ensures that the well constructor will act in accordance with Oregon rules and statutes. If the well constructor fails to perform in this manner, the bond will then cover resulting damages. The amount of coverage needed for the bond can be found in ORS 537753 as seen here, sum of $20,000. Well drilling machines. The drill rig should be marked with the name of the bonded water supply well constructor, their license number, or the name of the well drilling business on both sides of the rig. And just when you're thinking of the advertisement on the rig, just think permanent, nothing that might peel off. If it's a magnet, that's fine, but just make sure it's a sturdy magnet that is going to stay on there. Nothing that's going to fall off, something that's easily readable. Let's take a moment to talk about the continuing education requirements. So while CECs are not required at the time of first licensure, well constructors are required to obtain a minimum of 14 CECs during each 2-year licensing period. CECs and rules and statutes may be obtained at various seminars, such as those given by the Oregon Groundwater Association. Additionally, OWRD offers a rules course online for $40 per credit. Important to know, if you have a copy of your first aid card, that is worth a current first aid card, that is worth 4 CECs in safety. If you have a current HAZWOPER card, that is worth 4 CECs in hazmat. And lastly, you'll see a max of 2 CECs in exhibition. And that would be in an instance where you went to a seminar and you met with a vendor and learned about their products or services. So you can get up to 2 CECs per licensing cycle in exhibition. And where can you find this information in rule? So as you can see up here, minimum of 14, 2 should be in statute, max of 4 hazmat, max of 4 first aid, no more than 2 exhibition CECs per licensing period. Who is responsible for maintaining continuing education credit documentation? Well, that would be you. As you can see here in rule, that each licensee is responsible for maintaining their own records. That's not to say that I throw them away once you give them to me, but I certainly don't file them away nicely as a way to save time. So please keep records for yourself. Let's talk about start cards next. A start card is a notice to the department that a well constructor intends to start work on a well. Start card requirements can be found in OAR 690-205-0200 or in Statute 537762. Here it is in statute. Remember, the Oregon legislature, as a result of the passing of House Bill 2145, that means it's a bill that was introduced in the House rather than the Senate. The start card fee has increased from $225 to $350 beginning January 1st, 2022. The fee increase will allow the department to conduct 100% technical well log reviews. Prior to the passing of the bill, WRD was able to review only for the location of the well and the completeness of the well report. Start cards may be submitted by regular mail, electronically. Hand deliveries being discouraged since the office is closed for the pandemic currently. And then lastly, fax. Yes, we still take faxes. So again, start cards are required prior to commencing work. Keyword prior. If you plan to submit via regular mail, the start card should be mailed a minimum of 72 hours prior to commencing work, and a check should follow within 5 days to avoid submitting a late start card fee. Right, the resources for well constructors page on the WRD homepage. I want to take a moment to go over this with you. It has a lot of really good information here. So let's go ahead and click on that. All right, so we have landed on the resources for well constructors page. If you wanted to go to the home page, you can click home or you can click home. You could see across here our breadcrumbs showing you how you landed on this page. So we went from programs to groundwater wells to well construction and compliance, landing on resources for well constructors. The left navigation panel acts as a type of table of contents for the page, including the e-filing platforms. The right navigation panel is where you can find water well rules, monitoring well rules, and statutes pertinent to groundwater and well construction, in addition to the contact info relating to that topic. So for example, Travis Kelly here, he is your contact person presently. If you were to click on licensing, you'll see that my name is listed up here as the contact person. While we are on the licensing page, we'll just go over this one really quickly. Here are the dates of the exam. They're given quarterly in Salem, always at the same time, same room. It's always the second Monday in January, April, July, and October. Over here on the right side, you will find a study guide and application to take the exam. Underneath there are 2 practice exams, one for the water supply well exam and one for the monitoring well exam. Underneath there, you will find the individual rules for water wells, along with the appendices. And these are very important that you become familiar with the appendices. These are very helpful. Underneath here, you will see monitoring well rules with its corresponding appendix. And then underneath here, the statutes that you will need to be familiar with when you're taking the exam. Underneath here, these forms come into play after you pass the exam, and your employer or someone else who can verify your experience will complete these forms and send them in. Okay, let's go back. I'm just going to do this. See, resources for well constructors. Just click back where I was. The last thing I wanted to show you in this side panel here is towards the bottom, there are also other resources. If you want to order tags, if you need help with mapping, also information on the House bill is all right here. But I would like to, before we close out, show you the Well Said newsletter. The Well Said newsletter is also published quarterly, about the same month that the exam comes out. Whenever we have new information, this is where it goes. In order to be given out to the drilling community, is you will find it in the Well Said, in addition to an email, sometimes in addition to paperwork we send to you to let you know about changes. But if you want to be up to date on everything, I always suggest you go right to the Well Said. I'll go ahead and open one up for you. It just opens as a PDF. There we go. So here is a copy of the well set that came out in October. So it's talking all about the changes with the House bill, um, all kinds of information that you may want to print out and keep at your desk. It's very handy. And then also I will show you on the last page. Oh, this dog survived a fall in a well. Those are the best articles to write. Okay, let's get down here. There's always great pictures in here too, guys and gals. All right, here at the bottom on the last page of the well said, you may even want to print this out. It will have all of our phone numbers on it, fax information, region office directory. So it's just handy to have, just something I wanted to show you while we were on the website. Thank you for watching the presentation. If you have questions, please contact me. We also have a email address for the team, which is wrd_dl_wcc@water.oregon.gov. If you send a question to that email address, it goes to the group and the person who's best qualified to answer your question will respond. Thank you again. Have a great day.